Welcome to tonight's Fanzone show. I'm back. We finished Christmas and New Year, and it's back to the football tonight. It's FA Cup draw as well tonight, live. Hopefully it'll be live. It starts about 7:50, so we'll get that in towards the end of the show. One of the questions I'm sure we will be asking you guys tonight is, with ball 13, who do you want in the FA Cup and why? Here's another question for you all. Do we want a good cup in the FA Cup or not? Would you let it go and concentrate on the league? Or do you think, no, this is a season where we're doing that well in the league, we can have a go? Listen, join me for the next 30 minutes. We're live until 8 o'clock or until that ball is drawn. Who do you want in the cup? Let me know in tonight's Fanzone show.
It's on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content, like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live. Thanks to our sponsors, Everards, Barlow Blinds, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hollogram, Take Me, Newby Co, and the Foxes, Arms and Rainbows. We are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Don't forget you can follow us wherever you are on at Leicester Fan TV on all the socials. And it's always your show. We talk about what you want. We get your comments on screen. I've dropped a link already in the comments, and I will do it again in the next few seconds. If you want to come on camera and let us know what you think about Leicester, you can tell it to us live via a video cam link. So get your comments in. We'll get as many as we can on screen. Millwall 2, Leicester 3. Decent result away at the Den. Great showing from the Blue Army. Plenty of fans down there. We're ball 13. Who do you want and why? Get in the comments. Which team do you want? Do you want the cup run to continue? Do you want us to get one of the smaller clubs maybe back at the King Power? Or do you, like me, I quite fancy us taking on one of the decent Premier League sides and testing to see, using it as a yardstick, how are we lining up against hopefully next year's opponent. So I wouldn't mind a Fulham, a West Ham, somebody like that. Let's give us a challenge. That's my logic. Or do you want, no, give us one of the smaller clubs. Do you want a good run in the cup? We can also talk about the transfer window. It's open. Looks like the squad is a bit full. Who do we need to get rid of if we can, and who do we need to keep? Do you think we're going to make any transfers? Surely. We've had a few bad January transfer windows on the spin. If you ask me, yes, let's keep pushing for it. And who was man of the match at Millwall? Of course, there's the Coventry game on Saturday. The M69 derby is back. So let me know what you think about that. Philip Bliss says, I'll take Wrexham. Of course, we can get as many comments on screen as possible. And just for those of you who do want to come on and click on the video link, I've just popped it in the chat there. Nick says, I want Man United at home. Reckon we could beat them. I definitely would like us to have somebody at the King Power, and I'd like it to be a Premier League side because I want to see how good we are and I want to see where we need to improve. Be great timing to do it in January as well. Bubba says, welcome back. Hope your holidays were festive. Thanks, Bubba. Plus, there's been matches on Monday and New Year's Day, Christmas Day. It's just how it's all handed out. Andy says, please, 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 can we have Cov or Forest at home in there? That would be a good one. Craig says, anybody at home want an LCFC draw at home? Good evening, Matty. Hope you're well. Ian, the Super Fox, says, hope we get a home draw in the FA Cup fourth round. A lot of fans will be just like Ian. Do you agree with Ian? Let's just get anybody, and at home, again, you start to get the feeling this could be one of those seasons where we're doing very, 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 very well in the league. Why not have a cup run? Or perhaps you're the sort of think, no, it's all about the Premier League. Getting back into the Premier League. So let's not have any messing around with the cups. Don't want to pick up an injury or anything like that. Michael E says Maidstone. Philip Bliss says Wrexham. Be a nice one. Wrexham away. interesting town. I have to go there sometimes for work. It is an interesting place. Andy says, do we want a Premier League side just to test our progress? Andy, that's exactly what I said today. Me and Reedy were talking about in the office, and I said, I want to see us play somebody decent. Listen, if we played a Premier League side, they'd probably put out a little bit like Millwall did, put some of their reserve team players. But it'd be nice to challenge ourselves in there. Wayne, good evening, Wayne. Hope you're well. Says it'd take anybody in the cup. Where Leicester take note. Keith says, doesn't matter who we draw. We need to beat them all on the way. Get the craving pen out now. Keith, it's the 4th round. You, like me, know we've only won it once. But at least we can say that. Wembley 21. We did it once. We have done it. We can do it again. Matty says, don't care to be on. Well, just don't care, Matty. Come on, you must care a little bit. Not necessarily who we get, but what type of club would you want? Do you want it home? Do you want it away? Or, Matty, are you one of these? And I totally get it, who say, do you know what? Let's park the FA Cup this year. It's all about... Because listen, if we had a couple of injuries or things go wrong in an FA Cup match, somebody important got injured out, you know, Winks. Imagine we play somebody and Winks gets clattered and gets took out. Wouldn't want that. That would mess up this season maybe a little bit. Or do you think this season's safe? David says, anybody bottom half of the Premier League teams where we can see where we're at as a team? David, I said to Reedy, I said I'd like to see one of the middle table teams, maybe somebody like a Fulham, because it'd be interesting to see how we got on against them. Mark says he wants Forest at home. Stuart says he wants Cov at Leicester. Stuart, obviously, we've got Cov away on Saturday, 12:30 game, live on Sky, and, of course, many, many fans going down there. I'm still looking for a ticket. If anybody's got a ticket, I missed out on the cut-off on the away tickets, so let me know if you've got a spare ticket. I'll happily pay you some decent money for that. Patrick says, getting rid is easier said than done due to wages he's on. Patrick is reacting there to the transfer windows open. Not seeing much business. There was that player... We were reported to be interested in that Favlio, whatever his name is, from Liverpool. I don't know much about him, so I want to know what you guys think. Should we have gone for him? He's ended up at Hull, so he clearly was available. Quite a sort of attacking midfielder, a little bit of flair. Is that what we're lacking, maybe? Could he have been a good player in there? Let me know your views, your comments in there. Judy says, would like... Forest at home. Stephen wants Wrexham away. A few Wrexham away shouts in there. We are ball 13 tonight. So part of this is hopefully we're going to see. You know how these draws work. I mean, it's nothing like, do you remember the Champions League draw and the European draws? They take forever. Well, the FA Cup's a bit quicker, but I think it's 7:50. And then obviously it's Wigan Man U, isn't it, after that? Or Man U Wigan, I believe. Is that right? We got that right? Anyway, get your views in, get your comments in. Transfer window, FA Cup, who do we want? And why do we want them in there? TJ is watching, says, I don't mind who we get as long as the game is entertaining. That's fair enough. Stuart says, if we get a Premier League side, will they put their under-15s out? No, but they will put their reserve team out there. A lot of you going, Craig's going for Maidstone or Wrexham. A lot of you fancying that type of thing. Phil Upton says, let's get a home tie with Wrexham in there. You are the razzmatazz of Wrexham all of a sudden, Phil. I'm not sure I see that in there, but I think it'd be interesting. Bubba says, I'd love a Premier League side at the King Power in there. And Judy says, Forest at home, please. Don't forget, I'm going to post that link in there again if you do want to come on and give us your video views. I can see Callum is waiting patiently. He's clicked on the link, so I'll get his in there very, very shortly. Callum, bear with. Will Holloway, little brother Will, says Forest wants the revenge. That 4-1 away defeat at Forest was pretty painful. Was that round 4 as well? That, for me, was the start of it all going... That day, I remember badly. Worst day. That was worse. That Forest away, FA Cup 4-1, for me, was worse than Stoke away the year we got relegated to League One. Honestly, worse. Chris, or Chaz says, Bristol's well. Yes, Chaz, thank you. Hope you're well as well. We only play walking football. Quite sure. Are you talking about me, Chaz? Because yeah, my speed of football, it's not classed as walking football, but many people who watch me play say I might as well be playing walking football in there. Stuart says, may as well go for it. Let's see a championship team win it. It's been done before, Stuart. Let's Somebody out there will know, when was the last time a second tier team? Well, let's two questions here. When was the last time a second tier team got to the final and went of the FA Cup? And when was the last time a second tier team won it? I think I want you to tell me. Was it West Ham back in the early 80s? 81. West Ham won it. Were they second tier? It has happened, I'm sure, in there. Chaz says, how about a cup and league double? I'll just take the league at this. You see, that's part of what I'm thinking at the moment is we've just got to get up the season. We've said it all season long. That's the number one thing. Got to go and see, get it up there. I'm slightly laughing because Bubba's put this, go to Coventry and watch it in a cinema. Now, I'm going to tell you a little thing about that, Bubba. You might have seen that. If you're laughing at that, it's wrong. It's not in the cinema. Jamie from the Fox's Arms put a post out and said something about a cinema, as far as I know, and completely stirred a hornet's nest. It's just in a pub on a cinema-sized screen. He's had a lot of hate from a lot of Coventry fans, so he was telling me earlier. So that is it in there. Scott is saying, please, can we have numbers 4, 6, 17, 20 or 26? Scott, come on, tell us, who are all those? Let me know. Here's an interesting one. We're talking about transfers. Andy says there, Suter has been told he can leave. How bad was our January transfer window last year? Suter, you can go, mate. Christensen, already gone. Which was the... All right, here's another question for you. Which was the worst January transfer window? The one where we got Suter and Christensen and got relegated, or the one where we had to put up with Ryan Bennett? You let me know in your answers. Is there worse January transfer windows than those two in there? Moneyman says, can I say and hope Tottenham at Blackburn? Well, you can, but it sort of sounds like Moneyman. You're not no sort of Leicester fan, but you can say that if you want. Wayne is talking about Enzo. Yeah, moving Suter on there, which is an interesting one in there. Please do get your comments in. I'm going to pop Callum on. Callum is joining us. Callum, good evening, mate. How are you?
Are you all right? Yeah.
Callum, it's going to be quick tonight, but let me know, who would you like Leicester to get in the FA Cup?
Wrexham.
Why do you want Leicester to get Wrexham? You're not the first one. A lot of people have said Wrexham. Why do you want Wrexham?
I don't care who we get, just as long as I watch it on the telly.
You just want to watch it on the telly. All right, Callum. Well, listen, thanks for letting us know who you'd want. We'll see you again very, very soon. A quick one from Callum there. Don't forget, click on the link and let us know who you would like and why. Carlos, good evening. Hope you're well. Where are you watching from tonight? Nick says, everybody wants to see Ryan Reynolds at the King Power. Yeah. My missus and my daughter would be exactly the same. We watched Welcome to Wrexham on the telly. You've probably watched it. They're just ogling at Ryan Reynolds. Honestly. I watch it for the football. They watch it for other reasons in there. Scott says, have you seen the links to that Ibrahim Salah and thoughts? Scott, I have not. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I will go and Google his highlights on YouTube, which will make him look, no doubt, like a superstar sensation. Scott, what do you reckon? Is he any good? Who should we be signing? Let's move it on a little bit to that. We'll come back to the FA Cup as it gets closer to the draw. Who should we be signing and why and where? Why does it feel like the squad is sort of at bursting point? People are talking about this 25. We've got lots of players. It's an interesting one, you know, this whole transformation process that we've obviously started. We've got quite a lot of players out of contract in June. We've got... Are we going to be able to sell any of those now? Should we sell any, or are they all going to run their contracts down? I'm talking about people like Iheanacho, Wilfred Ndidi, Vestergaard. Should we be moving them on? Should we be keeping them? How's it all going to work? We saw what happened last year with Yuri Tielemans, where for me, it doesn't work. Having a player running a contract down, you can see that they're going to protect themselves in tackles and how it's all going. John Collins says, worse than crashing your car before losing 5-0 at Wolves. Do you know what, Chesty? My old pal Chesty. I remember the losing 5-0 at Wolves. You're way back in the 80s or 90s. I can't remember crashing my car, but then there's a lot of days back in the 80s, 90s I can't remember either. I do remember, Chesty, by the way. We were on an away trip. Oh, we'll save that for another day, actually, in the car. I can't bring that one up. Colt, what goes on an away trip stays on a away trip. Colt Stevenson says, wouldn't mind a mid-table Premier League side. Yeah, a Fulham. Who else, Colt? Name me some teams. A Bournemouth, they're not doing so well. You know, it'd be interesting. I really feel that's where I'd like to see us challenge ourselves this in the FA Cup. Use the FA Cup. Judy says in there, panic buying. What, this year or last year? I think Judy's talking about last year. Suter and Victor Christensen panic buying. It certainly makes you wonder, Judy, what on earth we were doing last year. Because if those two players weren't good enough for this year's championship side, I know we play a slightly different style this year, but if they weren't good enough for the championship, then they were in no way good enough for the Premier League. I don't know what people were thinking in there. Keith says, it's an ex-cinema, the Empire, showing the game in the city centre. It's a pub, isn't it, Keith? That's what it is. Chaz says here, Phil, you're correct. Hammers beat Arsenal in 1980. Thank you, Chaz. Was that the last second-tier team to do it, though, Chaz? That's what we need to know, if you can. Andy says, sell Nacho and Daka and buy Cannon a partner. What do you think about Mr. Cannon, Andy, and everybody else who's watching? Starting to like what I'm seeing from him, to be fair. I know it was Millwall, you know, mid-table in the Championship and not their best side out, but starting to like what I'm seeing from Cannon. Starting to feel he might be somebody who could take on Jamie Vardy's mantle. I don't want to put pressure on him, but he's got a bit of the Vards about him, has he not? Or is nobody else seeing that in there? Terry says, should we move Wilf out the squad if he's injured? Rumours are, Terry, that it's 3 months, but it's not going to be 3 months. Much more likely to be 6 weeks. So I'm hearing in there. Let's hope that's right. It's certainly ruled him out of the AFCON, but should be okay in 6 weeks. But I hear what you're saying. His contract's out in June. What do you do with Ndidi? What do you do with Nacho? What do you do with Vestergaard? Just keep them, and then we sort it all out in the summer when we're promoted. Dorco, thank you for watching as ever, Dorco, on YouTube. Appreciate you watching and your views here. Can we sign Fatawa in January? We didn't sign Lookman when we had the chance, did we? Let's not make... I don't know about you guys. Are we all on the same platform? We ran a poll on Twitter on Friday, and we said, we all want to sign Fatawa, don't we? I don't know any Leicester fan who doesn't think signing Fatawa is a good idea. I've already seen, he's a young lad. He's sub 20, isn't he? He's 19. I've already seen enough from Fatawa where I'm like, yeah, if you said to me, we've had him on try before you buy. He's clearly good enough for the Championship, too good for the Championship. And I actually think with a little bit more coaching from Enzo and a little bit more, I'm going to call it practice, match. You know, he's played a lot of games. Fatawa, for me, we should sign him. And if we're going to do that, let's do it in January. Let's get it done. I think if he plays a certain amount of games, we get him by default anyway. But it'd be nice. He clearly wants to play at Leicester. Clearly, he's enjoying at Leicester. So if you agree with me, let me know in the comments if you would go for Fatawa. Ben says Cannon looks very good, but can he cut in the Premier League? Big question. I can't answer you, Ben, on that. What do you think he will, Ben? Let me know in the comments. I think he could, and I know quite a lot of the Everton fans were quite disappointed that they'd got him to that stage and then let him go. So I've got a feeling he maybe can, but like we say, it's not always what happens, is it? Sometimes a player, look at Jamie Vardy, came from pretty much nowhere and he could cut it. Look at Patson Daka, came with a big price. For me, looks like he can't cut it in the Premier League. We'll just have to see. John Tower says probably need a central midfielder or two. Pratt, I agree. Pratt does need to leave, unfortunately. He doesn't get picked. He can't stay fit. You just think, just when you think he's going to come back, he's injured again. Nacho says, Nacho also needs to go for me, says John. Do you agree with that in there? Richard says, Nacho, Vardy or Brighton, Pratt, and Ndidi, Vestergaard and Smithers all out of contract in the summer. It's going to be another summer of turnaround, isn't it? Do we start that now? Surely we can not gamble. Surely we can start to think we are going to be a Premier League season next year. Keith says he's got a ticket. You can bump through the turnstiles with me. No funny business though. Listen, Keith, let me look at you, Keith. I reckon you're nowhere near as old as me, but I can remember at Filbert Street, if you used to be able to go in the turnstiles, you can't see my legs. Look, I'll try and, if you could see my legs, you'd sort of stand there. I've got to breathe in a bit, but you'd stand there and you could, I remember seeing people go through legs under the turnstiles if you got it right at Filbert Street. We never were naughty boys and girls, were we? We never did anything like that at Filbert Street. Nobody ever threw a coin. Nobody ever chanted anything nasty at anybody. It never happened. The 80s, 90s didn't happen. Nick Moore's here. Let's get him on. Nick, how are you?
I don't believe for 1 second, Phil, you never did that.
I never did that. Nobody sneaked through my legs or squeezed in and went, all right. Where was it? When we went to, I think it was Sheffield Wednesday away a few weeks ago, they'd actually got blokes on the turnstiles doing your tickets, like old school turnstiles. I was like, well, I've not been through one of these in a while. Like this.
It's old school ground,
anyway,
isn't
Nick, it is. Nick, how are you?
I'm very well, mate. How about yourself?
I'm not too bad. And you had a good Christmas and New Year?
Yeah, it came and went though, didn't it? Blink of an eye and it was
gone. Nick, before you say what you want to say, who do you want in the FA Cup? Because the draw's coming up very, very soon. Who do you fancy in the FA Cup and why? What sort of team would you like us to play?
I don't want Wrexham because that's got a banana skin written all over it. And let's face it, the last Welsh team we faced in the Cup was Newport and they knocked us out and cost poor old job.
Yes.
So I'm with you. I want to see where we are in regards to Premier League teams, whether it's preferably, I reckon, Man U at home I'd like, because I honestly believe we could do them. They're not having a great season. I think we could go for them.
Yeah.
Chelsea,
you understand what
Chelsea
I'm saying
at
there,
home.
Nick? It's like you say, see, because a lot of fans would debate really where we are and how we would stack up against a Premier League side, and it wouldn't give us a true guide, but it would help us see where we're perhaps at, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, and I think it would help Enzo for next season as well, because then he can see where the squad is in regards to what, Premier League teams come up against it. Because let's be fair still, the Championship is not brilliant. And
No.
we've beaten teams where we've barely had to get out of first gear, let alone go for it. So I think we need to start testing ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you'd like a decent side at home.
Yeah.
Again, the Millwall game, Nick, it wasn't their best side out, and they're not a great side anyway. So it's not much of a challenge. But I enjoyed seeing Cannon. Are you starting to see flashes of Cannon? Do you think I'm wrong to say he's starting to look a little bit like maybe a Vardy replacement, possibly?
Well, if you remember, I was on here a couple of weeks ago with you, and I said I'd like to see him get some more game time, especially because of what's happening at the moment with the African Cup of Nations. I think he's like a weird hybrid of Vardy and Nugent, believe it or not. And
yeah,
if they're two good players that we've had in the past.
Absolutely. I know what you mean about Nugent in there. To be fair, I think that's quite a good example in there. To be fair with you, I'm just switching on the draw. Nick, are you watching it as well live?
No, but I'll put it on. But as I say, I'd like us to see us get Man U, but we'll end up with Maidstone.
We're not going to get Wrexham because they've been drawn away at Blackburn, so we can rule that one out already.
Oh well, sorry people, you've lost Ryan Reynolds.
Do you think that's all it was? That's all they wanted?
Of course it is. They think Leicester City will be unwelcome to Wrexham next season. That's what it'll be.
But I agree with you. It would have been a banana skin. Anyway,
yeah.
Nick, before I let you go, we've got Coventry on Saturday back in the league as well, which will be a good one, a nice one, an exciting one. How do you feel Leicester should progress in the transfer window in January? Do you feel like we do need to make some changes?
Well, I'd like us to strengthen, but like Enzo said in his press conference last week, I think it was, he said that we've got to sell to bring in. Now, Locks seems to think in his head that we're not. Oh, Leicester City, we're at home.
Leicester at home too.
We're at home to 32, which is Hull or Birmingham City.
I'm just
Hull or Birmingham, Phil, at home.
Here we go. Do you know what? I think that's a bit of a strange one. I mean, I guess it goes, Nick, Leicester v Hull or Birmingham. I suppose you'd look at that and go, well, there's every chance we should go through to the next round
We should do. But as I say, it's not very glamorous, is it? It's not what we wanted. But hey,
no, but
we
again,
keep on going.
I think what you do is, it's one of those funny years, isn't it? Now I'm going to add Reedy in as well, Nick, if that's all right. Once he's finished doing his hair, here we go. Have you done your hair, Reedy? Oh, he's not turned his mic on. He's such an
There we go.
I'm sorry. I apologise for Reedy.
The sponsor of Brill Cream.
Go on then, Reedy.
Well, it's just Hull of Birmingham, isn't it? Obviously.
Yeah.
It's a tie we should get through. I'd say pretty easily, but obviously they're both championship teams, so we've already beat one of them. Obviously we lost to the other, but hopefully we get through and we go to what is it? Is it the quarterfinals after this? So
no, there's another round before the quarters.
Oh, okay.
4th round, 5th round, 6th round.
There's no
it's a long way. Well, yeah, it's the 6th round, the quarterfinals.
We'll take it then.
Nick, before I let you go, just a little prediction then on Coventry on Saturday.
Tough one. I reckon the 7 changes that came in for Millwall, I think they'll change back again. I fully expect the likes of Mavidi and Winks and etc. all to come back. Even Reedy's pin-up boy Vestergaard to come back in the starting lineup. And I think we should have enough to do them.
Yeah.
We should. Don't get me wrong, Mark Robbins has done a fabulous job at Cov. But we should have enough in the tank to do them. We really should. One thing I would like us to do, because you was talking about it earlier on, is the transfer window. If we can't bring anybody in because of financial fair play or whatnot, I'd like us to try and tie down some of the players that we need, like in Diddy, for example. Try and get the contract negotiations up, because I still think he can do a job for us in the Premier League. Vestergaard's has contracts.
Yeah.
We offer him fresh terms and stuff. Get it done now, because otherwise, like you said regarding Euro Tillemans, we're in the same boat as we were 12 months, and it's hard to replace those sort of players. And it'll cost a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to say.
Fair comment, Nick. I think, like you say, make decisions or make one way or the other, and I'm sure behind the scenes they'll get on with it. If they're going to let Vestergaard go and try and offer Ndidi, then they'll keep it behind closed doors. But hopefully they'll get it sorted. Now, Nick, I'm going to let you go. Thanks a lot for clicking on the link and joining us.
No problem, mate. Have a good evening, guys.
We'll see you. Will do. See you soon. Reedy, if you stick around just for a little bit, if that's all right. Andy says it's Hull or Birmingham at home in there. Phillipton says easy win. Chaz is saying Foxes v Hull or Brom. Chesty Collingham says good draw with a big thumbs up. Keith says a bit rubbish. I know what Keith means, Reedy. I'm a bit like, I actually wanted one of the Premier League sides, as I think you agreed earlier, didn't you? Let's test ourselves. But Reedy, Hull or Birmingham, look, you have to look at it and go, no, hopefully another win keeps that momentum going.
Yeah, completely. And like I say, other than we have lost to Hull already this season, you gotta be the one to say that we should be winning this one going into the next round. And the further we go, the better it is for us, because you never know. There is a chance. Like I say, Middlesbrough's in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. There's always a chance we can get quite lucky rounds getting into the latter stages of the FA Cup, and you never know what could happen. And it is what it is, and at least we're at home, because apparently the last 4 draws in the FA Cup we've been away, so at least it's an easy one for most people to get to.
Yeah, Bubba says exactly that. Bubba says, most importantly, no travel, apart from you, Bubba, coming all the way from America if you're going to watch it, but because Bubba's in the States. But he says very winnable tie, which again it is. Survive and advance. I think he pretty sums it up nicely in there. Imtiaz, hope you're well. Imtiaz says 5th round and then the quarters, Phil. Thanks, Imtiaz. Me and stats, I'm no good at that sort of thing. Spurs v Man City, Patrick saying in there, I've seen a few interesting one. Ipswich v Maidstone is another one. Chelsea versus Villa. There's a few nice draws. I can't go live and talk and do everything, really. Go on.
This is a lot of these games that have been drawn. Obviously the Spurs, Man City, you've got Chelsea versus Villa. These are the ones that we want to happen, because one of them is going to get knocked out. So hopefully, for instance, if Spurs somehow beat Man City, it's perfect, because then it gives us a way higher chance in winning it. That's
Yeah,
if we
Dave
get that
says,
far
maybe
anyway.
a point, Melton Mowbray. He means Steve. I know what you mean. He's having a joke. Steve Mowbray, as their new manager today, obviously Wayne Rooney's come and gone in there. Patrick says, yeah, quite a few of all the Premier Leagues playing each other in there. Jake says, might as well go for it. Why not? If somehow we manage to win the FA Cup straight back into Europe. I hadn't even thought of that, really, to be fair.
Yeah.
When we get promoted, good way to get players in. Jake there, for once, making sense and got a good point.
And that's
It is
showing up.
actually a way. Yeah, it actually is potentially a way. If we were to get back promoted to the Premier League and be back in Europe, some people would say
It'd be
that'd be too
hard-
much
it'd be
in
a
one go,
hard
but for
test,
me,
yeah, it would be a hard test
Yeah.
if we get Europe and being in the Premier League as well.
yeah. John says, really talking
Yeah.
on Reedy, but would be
Why
great.
not?
Listen. I said earlier, it's one of those seasons where it could be, fingers crossed, by the time it gets to March and April time, really, that the league could be sewn up. A couple more games and we could be 15, 20 points ahead, which you never count your chickens, but you could get to March, April and be really, really cruising and think, yeah, we can go full pelt at something like the FA Cup.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, by the time we get to that stage in March or April, we're already 10 points clear already. So we might want to at times, even if it is the last stage of the season, and we don't want to go full pelt in the league because we are getting into the quarters or semis or even the final. We are allowed to drop players for the league and go in full pelt for the FA Cup. I'm not saying we're going to win it. We're not. I don't think we will. But with the draws that are already coming out and how big these games are already being, I will say there's a higher chance already because Spurs or Man City will get knocked out. Chelsea or Villa will get knocked out. So, and like John O'Sauer says, I don't know why I'm positive, but after seeing the draw, there's more. You've all got to say there's a higher chance because there's 2 teams out of the 4 that we could have drawn have already been knocked out. So.
Jono says you're being super positive. Scott saying, what the hell is going on? It's the most positive Reedy has been. What's he been drinking and taking? What's going on, Reedy?
No,
You
no
lucky
idea,
on
mate.
Tinder.
I'm just...
Right. We'll let Reedy go. We'll see you later. He's got some swiping to do. Left, right. We'll see you in a bit, Reedy. I love it. Reedy's such a good lad. Bless his cotton socks. Anyway, he's back to his Tinder profile. Andy says Fulham v Newcastle. Again, another tough one. It's in there. And it's going to be an interesting one. Vestergaard header to Wembley. You never know, Jono. Things can happen. Chesty, thanks for watching. He says, good show. Enjoyed listening in. Thanks, Chesty. We'll catch up very, very soon. Listen, everybody, thanks as ever for all your views, all your comments. We'll be back next Monday. Don't forget, this Thursday at 7 o'clock. Fox's Focus with Locks. Join that show and get your views in with Locks. Reedy and Sam will be doing a tactics show previewing the trip to Coventry. And then on Sunday, it is, of course, the one and only, the unbelievably famous Fox's Aftermath show with Jamie. So I'll be seeing you next Monday. If I don't see you at the game or see you soon, keep in contact with us at Leicester Fan TV. And thanks as ever for everybody who's watched and put a comment in, and for Nick, Callum, Reedy, who dared click on the video chat. Come on, next week, let's get you on. Chesty, if you're watching, click on that link. See you later.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, Everards, Barlow Blinds, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hollogram, Take Me, Newby Co, The Fox's Arms and Rainbows. Run by the fans, for the fans. Follow us on socials at Leicester Fan TV and visit leicesterfantv.com for all the latest news, views and videos.